Good morning, Year 5. Welcome to Wednesday. Today we are going to do some choral reading where you're going to read alongside me. But as always, at the very start of the lesson, we're going to do our do now to revise the vocabulary for Monday. So I have my do now in front of me here, which I'm going to complete with you all in a moment. If you have it printed off, you may go and complete it, or you can simply write it into your book, as I know some of you have been doing very, very neatly. So today, once again, like yesterday, we'll be recording our do now on Seesaw. We'll also have a little video of ourselves reading for a minute and our questions as well. So 3 things again on a Tuesday and a Wednesday that we're going to need to upload to Seesaw. Okay, so here is your do now. Like I say, please pause the video here, go and complete it, and then come back when you're ready to mark. Okay, let's have a look. How did you get on with remembering our vocabulary? So the first one, circle all the words that are structures. So we know that a structure is like a building that is made up of different parts, or a bridge. So the Eiffel Tower in Paris would be a structure. Big Ben is a structure. And the London Eye is a structure. London is not a structure, it's a city. And the cube jar is not a structure. Okay, so well done if you got those 3. Number 2. Circle all the things that would cause devastation. A tornado would cause devastation. Winning a race wouldn't, it actually cause a celebration. A storm could cause devastation. Sunshine wouldn't. And an earthquake could cause devastation. Okay, so tick or fix. And number 3, circle the events in which you would bellow. Be careful here because remember, bellow means to let out a loud shout in annoyance, anger, or pain. So if your dog bit you, you might bellow. You get a head teacher's award. Bellow would be the wrong word to use in that context. Yes, you might shout or you might exclaim with delight. While you bake a cake, that should be quite relaxing. You win the lottery, yes, again you might exclaim or shout, but you wouldn't bellow because remember, bellow is about pain and anger. And your sibling gets more cake than you, yes, you might bellow if you were jealous of them and annoyed that they got more than you. Okay, so that's the first section done. Then we come down here. Every Friday, the student council meet to discuss important issues. Okay, so well done if you got that correct. Number 2, my granny collects souvenirs from places she visits to remind her of her travels. Number 3, while the teacher is talking, we track her around the room so she knows we are listening. And number 4, after we boarded, we put our luggage away and sat in our seats ready for our flight. Okay, so well done if you got a 7 out of 7. Anything you got incorrect, just make sure you fully understand the words and it's ticked or fixed before you upload to Seesaw. Right, so let's get ready to go with chapter 1. We're on day 3 of the London Eye mystery. Okay, so like I say, we're doing choral reading, which means we're reading together. That means it might be a good idea to turn down the volume on this video ever so slightly so that I'm not drowning you out as we read together. And again, at the end of this reading extract, just pick a little section or paragraph and just read aloud for 1 minute and upload to Seesaw. So, at different points, again, I'm going to get you to read on your own without my help, but we're really going to try and adhere to our punctuation, adhere to our fluency, do our best to self-correct if we have any errors. If you have to go back and pause the video, then do. This is really, really important that we get this right. Also, intonation and expression, work on that especially during speech, okay? Keep up with my pace of reading if you can, and don't go too fast. Don't go too slow. If you do need to readjust, as you haven't done this for a couple of weeks, then do, and restart the video. Okay, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. A giant bicycle wheel in the sky. My favourite thing to do in London is to fly the eye. On a clear day, you can see for 25 miles in all directions because you are in the largest observation wheel ever built. You are sealed into one of the 32 capsules with the strangers who were next to you in the queue. And when they close the doors, the sound of the city is cut off. You begin to rise. The capsules are made of glass and steel and are hung from the rim of the wheel. As the wheel turns, the capsules use the force of gravity to stay upright. It takes 30 minutes to go a full circle. From the top of the ride, Kat says London looks like a toy town and the cars on the roads below look like abacus beads, going left and right and stopping and starting. I think London looks like London and the cars like cars, only smaller. Okay, hopefully you're getting used to the pace, the punctuation that is in this text, and that you're keeping up with me. Okay, good start. Let's keep going. The best thing okay, I said good start and then I made a mistake. So I'm going to self-correct and we're going to start that section again. 3, 2, 1. The best thing to see from up there is the River Thames. You can see how it loops and curves. But when you are on the ground, you think it is straight. The next best thing to look at is the spokes and metallic hawsers of the eye itself. You are looking at the only cantilevered structure of its kind on Earth. It is designed like a giant bicycle wheel in the sky, supported by a massive A-frame. It is also interesting to watch the capsules on either side of yours. You see strangers looking out, just like you are doing. The capsule that is higher than yours becomes lower than yours, and the capsule that is lower becomes higher. You have to shut your eyes because it makes a strange feeling go up your esophagus. You are glad the movement is smooth and slow. And then your capsule goes lower and you are sad because you do not want to ride to end. You would like to go around one more time, but it's not allowed. So you get your feeling, self-correction. So you get out feeling like an astronaut coming down from space, a little lighter than you were. We took Salim to the eye because he'd never been up before. A stranger came up to us in the queue, offering us a free ticket. We took it and gave it to Salim. We shouldn't have done this, but we did. He went up on his own at 11:32, the 24th of May, and was due to come down at 12:02 the same day. He turned and waved to Kat and me as he boarded, but you couldn't see his face, just his shadow. They sealed him in with 20 other people whom he didn't know. Okay, I'd like you to read from here, on your own this time, down to here. So you can pause the video, read from this bracket to that bracket, reading aloud with expression and self-correcting if necessary, as I've done. Okay, well done. Let's continue. 3, 2, 1. Then the capsule landed. The doors opened and the passengers came out in 2s and 3s. They walked off in different directions. Their faces were smiling. Their paths probably never crossed again. But Salim wasn't among them. We waited for the next capsule and the next and the one after that. He still didn't appear. Somewhere, somehow, in the 30 minutes of riding the eye in his sealed capsule, he had vanished off the face of the earth. This is how having a funny brain that runs on a different operating system from other people helped me to figure out what had happened. Okay, let's keep going with chapter 2, reading together. 3, 2, 1. News of a hurricane. It started the day the letter from Aunt Gloria arrived. Aunt Gloria is my mum's sister. Mum calls her Glo, and Kat calls her Auntie Glo. Dad calls her Hurricane Gloria because she leaves a trail of devastation in her wake. I asked him what this meant. Did it mean she was clumsy like I am? He said it wasn't so much things that she upset, which wouldn't be so bad. More people and emotions. Does that mean she is evil? I asked. Dad said she didn't do it on purpose, so no, she wasn't evil. She was just a handful. I asked him what being a handful meant, and he said it meant being larger than life. When I tried to ask what being larger than life meant, he put his hand on my shoulder. Not now, Ted, he said. The morning Aunt Gloria's letter came was the same as any other. I heard the post drop as usual on the doormat. I was on shreddy number 3, and the radio forecast was saying it was set fair with a risk of showers in the southeast. Okay, your turn to read on your own from cat down to good. Pause the video and continue on. Okay, good work. Together in 3, 2, 1. Dad was hopping around in one sock, complaining about how the washing machine had eaten all his socks and he was late. Mom was looking through the laundry bag for a spare. Ted, get the post, Mom said. She's in her nurse's uniform, and even I know that when her words come out short and sharp like that, you do what she asks, even though I hate leaving my shreddies turn to mush. I came back with 6 envelopes. Kat saw me and snatched them off me and picked out a big brown envelope and a small white one. I could see her school emblem on the white one. It looked like a squashed up X and over it a bishop's hat, which is called a meter. Kat tried to hide it behind the big brown envelope, but Mom saw her. Not so fast, Katrina, Mom said. When Mom calls Kat Katrina, you know that trouble is coming. Kat's lips pressed up tight. She handed over the post, all except the brown envelope, which she held up for all to see that it was addressed to her, Katrina Spark. She opened it, and a catalogue came out. It was called Hair Flare. She walked over to the door, head nodding. I ate shreddies numbered 7 through 17. Dad started humming the tune of Laurel and Hardy, his favourite thing to watch on TV. He'd got the other sock and was buttering his toast, and his hair stood on end, and Mom would have said he looked the spit of Stan. The spit is a way to say exactly like, but don't ask me why. Anyway, Stan has brown hair, and Dad's hair is fair, like mine, so he doesn't look exactly like Stan at all. Katrina, Mom bellowed. The 18th shreddy fell off my spoon. Okay, we're coming up to a bit of speech here, so I'm going to let you take over on your own, practicing intonation and expression to get the character across. So read that speech from what down to where were you? Pause the video and continue. Okay, excellent. Your mouth must be getting dry at this stage, but we're nearly there, and we're going to continue reading together in 3, 2, 1. She was AWOL, Mom, I suggested. Kat and Mom stared at me. AWOL, like in the army, I explained. Absent without leave. Get stuffed, you creep, Kat hissed. She went out and slammed the door after her. The radio program switched back to the news. Turn that thing off, Ted, Mom said. I fiddled with the knob, but she pulled the plug out of the socket instead. There was silence. I heard Dad munching some toast. She's going off the rails, Ben, Mom said to Dad. Okay, sorry, you actually couldn't continue at that point. My apologies. Okay, we'll continue now in 3, 2, 1. Off the rails, I repeated, thinking of a train accident. I suppose Mom was saying something about Katrina being AWOL. Maybe off the rails was another way of saying skiving, which means not going to school when you should. But I didn't dare check, not with Mom in that mood. Off the rails and nobody cares, she said. I used to bunk off at her age, Dad said. I'd spend the day riding buses and smoking fags in the park. My 20th shreddy nearly went down the wrong way. The thought of Dad with a cigarette in hand was very strange. He never smokes now. Dad tapped Mom's shoulder, and when she looked up at him, he kissed her on the middle of her forehead. It gave off a funny squeak that nearly put me off the rest of my shreddies. Let's discuss it tonight, Faith. I've got to run. There's a meeting about blowing up the barracks. Mum's lip went up a bit. Okay, love. Later. I should explain here that Dad is not a terrorist who goes around blowing up places where soldiers live. He is a demolition expert. Okay, and as you read throughout the briefings, you will discover what was in Auntie Glow's letter. Okay, so that's our reading done for today. So we have done our do now. We've read together. Remember, if you want to pause the video here, you need to do so to record just a 1-minute reading that we can upload to Seesaw and listen to you read. Okay, so if you've done that, well done. We're going to look at the questions. Again, I'm going to model 1, and then you're going to go and do them. So, the first one, page 3. So you get out feeling like an astronaut coming down from space. So I'll zoom in for you. So you get out feeling like an astronaut coming down from space, a little lighter than you were. What does Ted mean by the phrase, a little lighter than you were before? So does it mean you've lost weight afterwards? You feel a little dizzy afterwards? You're a brighter person afterwards? You are a light person afterwards. Okay, so let's think about what's happening in that quote. In our head, we can visualize around this point on page 3, they're up on the eye, he's describing what you're like on the eye. You've gone around in a circle at a great height. Does that mean you would have lost weight afterwards? Because what I can imagine is people coming out of the London Eye after being at a height, after going around in a circle, and almost stumbling a little bit or having to get their balance back. So, you've lost weight afterwards. I don't think you could lose weight on the London Eye. You feel dizzy. That's what I'm imagining. So I think that's the answer, but I'm just going to go through the final 2. You are a brighter person afterwards. So do you suddenly get clever? I don't think so. You are a light person afterwards. Again, it's not what's in my head. You feel a little dizzy afterwards, what I think is correct, because I can quite clearly imagine people coming off the eye after going around in a circle and feeling a little dizzy. So there's 3 more word meaning ones for you to do. There's also fact or opinion questions. There's 5 of them. Is it a thought that someone believes, or is it a fact, a hard fact? And then there's 6 comprehension questions as well at the end, alongside an extension where you just need to summarize the extract in less than 100 words. So you are going to go and do the rest of this sheet now. You are then going to unpause the video, make sure that you have marked your work before uploading to Seesaw. Really, really important that you do that. Okay, pause the video here and give those questions a go. Okay, let's have a look at the answers. Okay, yes, I was correct with the first one. Number 2 of word meaning. Look at the paragraph beginning, then the capsule landed. In this paragraph, what does Ted mean by their paths never crossed again? So what Ted meant was they probably never see each other again. Okay, so well done if you were able to work that one out. Page 1. When they close the doors, the sound of the city is cut off. What does the phrase, the sound of the city is cut off, suggest? So it suggests you can't hear anything anymore. Well done. Page 5. Dad calls her Hurricane Gloria because he says she leaves a trail of devastation in her wake. What does Dad suggest by using the phrase, leaves a trail of devastation? Okay, so that means that she upsets people. Okay, fact or opinion. Kat says London looks like a toy town. That's an opinion of Kat's. Salim went up the eye at 11:32 on the 24th of May. That is a fact. Aunt Gloria is Ted's mum's sister. That is a fact. The washing machine had eaten all of Dad's socks. That's an opinion. And Dad used to skip school sometimes when he was Kat's age. That is a fact. Okay, so well done if you're getting most of those correct. Let's have a look at the questions. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on those. Hopefully you'll be able to see them. Okay, just bear with me. Right, number 1. How far can you see from the London Eye on a clear day? You can see for 25 miles, and if you rode in each direction, that's absolutely fine. If you didn't, that's absolutely fine. Number 2. What was the title of the catalogue that came out of the envelope that was addressed to Katrina? And that was called Hair Flare. Well done. Number 3. When exactly did Salim go up on the eye on his own? Okay, he went up on the 24th of May at 11:32. Exactly. 11:32, and the date as well is quite important for that one. Number 4. Why did Ted think that taking a ticket off a stranger was the wrong thing to do? On page 2 and 3. Now you need to use evidence to support your answer. He realised that taking something from a stranger was the wrong thing to do, and my quote to help me was, we shouldn't have done this, but we did. Number 5. On page 3, how do we know that Kat and Ted waited for a long time for Salim? Again, evidence is needed. A how do you know question, you really do need to use evidence normally. And because it says we waited for the next capsule and the next one after that, that suggests that they were waiting a long time. So if you wait for something and you wait for it again after that, that suggests you've been waiting a while. And number 6, a literal question. What does the acronym AWOL stand for? On page 8, absent without leave. Okay, well done if you got all those done and you have your summary done. So like I said yesterday, 3 things to upload to Seesaw. Number 1, your do now, ticked or fixed. Number 2, a video, short 31-minute video of you reading aloud, and then the questions ticked or fixed at the end. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow for our final day on the London Eye Mystery, where we're going to do our big question. So thank you for listening, and I will talk to you then. Bye.